Have you ever stood in the grocery store checkout line and genuinely not known which card to use? Not because you don't want to know where your money is going, but because overwhelm kicks in before you even know where to start budgeting. Or maybe you've added things to your cart and then quietly put them back, hoping that nobody noticed because you weren't sure if you could cover it. Or you've handed over a card and just hoped. That feeling, that low level of dread at the register, that's not your problem. And it doesn't mean you're bad with money. It just is what happens when money is a mystery. And the reason that money stays a mystery isn't because budgeting is hard. It's actually so much easier than most people make it sound. The reason it stays a mystery is because starting feels completely overwhelming. Like you'd have to reinvent the wheel, figure out some perfect system, get organized in a way that you've never been organized before. So you don't start, and the mystery continues. I want to show you the most simple place to begin. Not a complicated system, not a perfect plan, just a few decisions made once that changes everything. The free guide that I share below this video is the exact system that I've used for almost 20 years. It's called Money Decisions That Create Options. It's linked below and I'll show you how it works in a minute. Here's what I think happens when most people try to start budgeting. They sit down with good intentions and immediately feel like they have to figure out everything all at once. How many categories should I have? What's the right amount for groceries? Should I use an app? What about savings? How much is right? What about debt? What about irregular expenses? And before they've written down a single number, they're already overwhelmed. But here's the thing, that overwhelm doesn't mean you're not smart enough to figure this out. It means that the way budgeting gets talked about makes it sound so much more complicated than it actually is. So they close the laptop or they put down the notebook and they tell themselves they'll figure it out later. But later never comes. And the checkout line stays stressful. And here's what I want you to know. Budgeting is not complicated. It's so much easier than it sounds. You do not need to have everything figured out at once. You just have to make a few decisions and then stop remaking them. That's it. That's my whole system. I've been using the same basic budgeting system for almost 20 years. And the most important thing about it isn't the spreadsheet. It isn't any specific number. It's this. I make decisions once, and then I stop remaking them. Let me give you a specific example. I decided once that if there is a significant sale at our grocery store on things we buy all the time and we'll save money by stocking up, then I stock up. It doesn't matter how much is in the budget. I'll move money over and I'll make it work. That's the rule. If it's a minor sale and I'm not going to save that much money and we don't need it, I move on. The decision was already made. I decided once what a reasonable grocery range looked like for our family. Not a rigid number, but a range. Because some weeks we stock up and some weeks we barely cook. But I'm not starting from scratch every month trying to figure out how much groceries should cost. That decision has already been made, and that's just for groceries. I've done this for savings, for eating out, for how we handle irregular expenses, and what we do when unexpected things hit. Every time I make one of those decisions once and stop remaking it, I remove hundreds of tiny negotiations from my life. I've been biking almost every day for about 7 years. I've worked up to about 25 miles a day, and I want to tell you something I never do. I never wake up and ask, should I ride today? Is this still the best exercise? Maybe I should look into something else. I decided once, and I ride every day. That's it. I don't burn extra energy trying to decide daily if I should go. The decision has already been made. I just do it. Money works exactly the same way. When your basic money decisions are already made, you stop negotiating with yourself every time you open your wallet. You stop dreading the checkout line. You stop avoiding your bank app. because you already know what you have and you already know what your plan is. Here's the part I really want you to hear. You don't have to make all of these decisions all at once. You just have to start with one. Pick one thing. Maybe it's groceries. Maybe it's how much you're putting towards savings. Maybe it's just what your actual bills are each month. Write it down. Make the decision and then stop remaking it. Next month, maybe you'll add one more decision, and the month after, another one. That's how this system gets built. Not all at once, not by reinventing the wheel, but by making one decision and keeping it. The spreadsheet I share below is built around this idea exactly. It's not complicated, and it doesn't have a million categories. It just gives every dollar a place to go, so you always know what you have in the checkout line. The free guide I share below is the exact starting point that I'd recommend. It walks you through how to see what you actually have, how to make intentional decisions, and carry money forward month to month so nothing sneaks up on you. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. It's just a place to start. It's linked below and it's free, and you can start using it today even if you've never budgeted before. I started building this system in 2007. I was 24 years old and I had no idea what I was doing with money. I avoided my bank account and I was hoping that charges would go through when I handed over my card. I was overwhelmed by the idea of figuring it out. And what changed wasn't that I suddenly got good at money. What changed was that I stopped trying to figure it out all at once. I made one decision, and then another, and then another. And now, almost 20 years later, I still use that same basic system. Not because it's perfect, because it's simple enough that I'll actually stick with it. You don't need a complicated plan. You don't need to be good with money. You just need a place to start making decisions and keeping them. And this is that place. The free guide is linked below. And if this resonates with you, watch the next video, because that's where I show you exactly what to do every month so money stops catching you off guard.